Hey up, how do and welcome. This is series 2 of Loose Lips. Series 2, where we got renewed. Well, I suppose I'm my own producer and director, so yeah, we had a conversation and I thought, yeah, we're definitely doing series 2, so here we are. For those of you that are new to it, this is Loose Lips. I'm Ben Random, and what I do is I speak with people all across the globe, celebrating their life stories so that we can raise some optimism during these times. Right now, we're going to be speaking with Bobby Martin. He sent me his request, so let's technology do it.
Yo,
Yes, brother, how are you?
good brother, good, very good.
Good to see you, man. Long time.
It's been a while. It's been a
How have you
while.
been keeping?
Good man. Yeah, good. Didn't really get affected too much about this isolation. Having my little van. I've always been in isolation, and still get to open up the doors wherever I am. And there's still people walking around everywhere in Oz. We didn't get too affected here, so still keeping the flow going.
Good man, good man. So anyone who's watching, this is Bobby Martin, and we met at Burning Man 2018. We're in the same camp. Shout out to our camp. Rubber Armstrong, wasn't it? Rubber Bandit, Rubber Armstrongs. There we are. And yeah, just I think it was the final day. Like we'd always chatted and stuff and got on a level, but it was the final day while we were waiting to fly over the Burning Man site, where you proper indulged in your story, and I was like, "What? Like your life story is incredible, man." But then I was like, "You need to write a book," and you're like, "Well, I'm writing one," and I'm like, "Whoa, that's sick." I was like, "You should be a life coach," and you're like, "Well, I'm wanting to be a life coach." I was like, "Mate, that's it. You should be my life coach." And there were a few times when it was like, I think the time difference threw it a bit, but there were a lot of times when I could reach out to you. So that was perfect, man. So I just wanted to sort of, reconnect and see how that side of life is going. So where should we start? Do you know what? Should we start with the van? Because I love the fact that you are proper just chilling in your van. And I know that it's proven to be quite a big community and way of life in Australia, but it's quite new to people over here. But I've got some friends who are actually starting to strike up that side of it as well, because they're into the climbing and they want to do that. So can you tell us a bit more about that community?
Yeah, well, I went from the other whole spectrum, from working on super yachts with the richest people in the world on for $100 million yachts to living in a van. So yeah, it was quite a interesting transfer. But Burning Man kind of made me realize the real rich, who the real rich people are, the people with the most amount of abundance, are the people that are dancing their buns the most. So I started just following the festival scene around. So after that, after my first burn, I think I met you on my second Burning Man. So yeah, I bought a van and over in the US, and that was my first kind of taste into van life. And yeah, I really loved to come back to Oz and sat and kind of got into a bit of a manifestation on the plane, and I was like, I want to buy a white Mercedes Sprinter and park it down in this car park down in Bondi, and just live by the beach and just work on my book and work on the things that light me up. So yeah, sure enough, 2 weeks later, I see this guy sitting there in this white van, and it's just beautiful, just decked out, amazing. So um, it was, yeah. So I kind of got a little mentor there, and kind of got taught exactly what I needed to do with the layout of the van, and and then I ended up finding a bathtub that fit perfectly in the van.
Which is crazy. It's crazy. So you've proper kitted it out like a home, and you've even got a bath in it.
clawfoot Victorian style bath. The English person that walks past it go, "Oh my god, it's got a fucking bath."
So what's is it? Does it feel safe and secure? You know, when you're sleeping at night.
Yeah, no, we're pretty safe here. We're pretty lucky with that. Our crime rates are pretty low, and yeah, they're gonna probably half the people that are living in their cars and vans are the ones that you're worried about. So they wouldn't be trying to. No, from the outside, it's got no windows. It doesn't look like a camper van. I built it like that on purpose. So it just looks like a delivery van. And then, yeah, you open the doors up and it's my little sacred place inside it. So it's amazing. It really attracts real high quality, high vibe people. And that's what I kind of had a bit of paradigm shift. I've had certain awakenings throughout this journey the past kind of 12 years. And I used to kind of go seeking for things. And then as I kind of awoken to the fact that it's all inside of me. And then I just started providing a garden around me for people to come to me. And I kind of shifted my magnet so a bit. So yeah, it was quite amazing. Like this summer over January, I think I spent like $150 the whole month, and like ate like a king. We lived on the beach. There was just like, my buddy was a photographer, so it was models coming in. There was just like, we were living like lords in this van, and he actually moved into the van with me. And then we had I was running it like a boat. So then we had another kid move into the van as well, and he was like a photographer. It was like the videographer, and for a couple of weeks there. But yeah, we were like just helping out the community, we were like helping the homeless people, and then they'll get all the leftovers from the markets. And then so we would fill up the van with like the most organic, amazing food, and just cook food for everybody. And yeah, we'd just have parties on the beaches. And yeah, it was like in front of all the millionaires' homes. We're having the most amount of fun. We're having the most amount. We've got a way better view. Step right out of the van onto the sand, and then no rent. And yeah, just absolutely amazing. People would like it was amazing how many. I got to have like 50 people come through my van every night, and like people would just come with offerings, with food, and medicines, and like
it's proper. It seems like, I mean, how big is the van? It seems it blows my mind. It blows my mind, but it fully makes sense as well. But how big is the van?
Yeah, you can, like, if you're 6'3", you can stand up in my van. So it's quite a high van, and it's like 7.1 meters long. So it's got like a decent sized kitchen, a bathtub, a full size closet, and then I built it with 2 little lounges that turn into a bed. So I can have 8 people over for dinner and cook them dinner.
8 people over for dinner. Have you ever had it where people have been having dinner and you've just like took them for a spin while they didn't expect it?
yeah. I've had 18 people in there before, driving around from party to party, and then yeah, the thing was like sitting on the ground. It was so heavy. There were some big boys in there.
It feels like you could be like an Uber driver as well on the slide, just like commuting people from party to party.
I've done a legal taxi before as well, and yeah, I nearly turned it into a strip club one night. I was oh, fun time.
You mentioned that you were at the other side of the wealth bracket, or seeing the other side of the wealth bracket. Was it something when you were involved in that world, and maybe you want to give us a bit more detail of how you were involved with that world, but was that something that helped propel you to go deeper within? Because it seems like when you can be around the materialistic side, it usually drags you to be more materialistic.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like for me, I get bored pretty easy. So being able to like have a new backyard every day and a new experience every day, and like it's a beautiful experience to be able to tick pretty much most things off my bucket list before the age of 30. And like I was eating the finest foods, I was going to the billionaires clubs, I was drinking the finest wines, I was going to the best parties, I was like traveling to the best beaches, and like getting beyond that, like getting to the end of it, like you've already experienced it, and then looking back at it and looking at it like they're not the wealthiest people. They may be the richest in currency, but for me, wealth is so much more for community, and that Burning Man was that shift. Like I'm like, wow, okay, people that are making impact, people that are really doing good stuff. They're the people with the most amount of abundance. Yeah.
Did you go to Burning Man? Sorry to cut you. Did you go to Burning Man with that intention? You know, to for a bit of a shift. What was the reasoning behind you wanting to go to Burning Man the first year?
It's always been on the list. It was actually, I come off a charter, and the captain's wife was going a bit loopy, and so she put I had a target on my back with her. So I'm like, I ended up calling up my cousin and said, let's go traveling somewhere. Let's go down to South America and do ayahuasca or something like this. I'm like, I'm over this job. And I thought he was over in Australia. But it turns out he just arrived in America. And I was up in the Hamptons, like right at the top of New York and like country. And he goes, okay, what are you doing in the US? He goes, I'm going to Burning Man. I go, fuck. I go, I'm coming. So he goes, you know it's tomorrow. And I'm like, man, I'll be there. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, sweet. He goes, I'll get some water for you and put some extra money in for food or whatever. And he bought me a $20 tent from Walmart. And then, yeah, so, and as Burning Man goes, everything goes wrong. So not everything goes wrong. I got a ticket that the next hour. So that was perfect. And she was in San Francisco. My cousin picked it up, but then got caught in a hurricane coming over, and we had to change flights, and we ended up it took 2 days to get there. But yeah, rolled in. Yes, it's kind of, I don't know. It was just like a thing, just pulled me, and I was going with it. So yeah, it was that was a good 5-day bender, including travels, and then get there, and Burning Man just takes you. So yeah, definitely. So get my mindset a bit more.
Did you so when you'd been to sorry, I think there's a bit of not a delay, I don't know, it was just slowing down, but I think we've got you. I heard everything, but it was just when we were going to speak, it were at different intersync bits, but we're there now, so we're back. But so when you came out of Burning Man, did you know that you were ready to leave that life, I suppose, behind? Not just career, but that lifestyle rather.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I just kind of like it'd always been in the back of my mind just to simplify my life and at my own terms, because being a puppet to the billionaires and kind of babysitting them it's not. There's two different sides to it. You can say it sounds like an amazing life, but then you're working 18 hours a day, and and you have to dress a certain way, you have to have a haircut a certain way, you have to, do certain things. So yeah, I've always been thinking of it, just kind of how do I, like, it was always just a temporary thing to get to the next thing. It's something that I can actually sink my teeth into, and something that I would do for the rest of my life. And it was close. I was kind of visualizing myself as a captain doing all this kind of stuff, and then but then yeah, I kind of got turned off that. And then when the festival scene came around, I'm like, this is what, like, you can't explain that feeling of the atmosphere of what those beautiful people come together. And so I'm like, this is my life now. This is festivals of my life. This is what I want to do. So over the years, I've been pretty much doing that, been hitting up festival scenes, around Oz and around the US, and LA's taken me on a few amazing journeys into Hollywood, and that's another whole little experience.
So where do you feel the journey is taking you to now? Is it taking you still to be the life coach and the mentor?
Yeah, it's I feel it like it's a hero's journey. Like before, the yachting was the yoga, was meditation, was to the top of the Himalayas, to this kind of level of just getting myself out of, like, realizing that my thoughts are not me, and then kind of playing. I feel like me being able to connect with the people at the top and the people at the bottom, and then everyone between. I think this is kind of crucial to be able to, like, I'm getting into a lot of philosophy recently, and a lot of different experiences. So through my different experiences in my, like, psychedelic consciousness exploring and this kind of stuff, and it's all coming together. So it's coming together, and it's going into my book, and it's and getting a lot more, like, aligned, and been using, I've been stepped it up to this quantum level recently. I've been using little frequency devices connected to my wrist at the moment. So yeah.
So what does that do?
Okay, so everything's energy, everything's vibrating at a certain frequency. So this German scientist, quantum physicist, pretty much he wanted to connect spirituality to science, and he created and started collecting all these frequencies. So they put it into this big algorithm. So they've pretty much scanned over 500,000 people and figured out what like a good liver looks like on a frequency level, or like what a good skin looks like, or what good bones, or good like mindset, like good muscle growth looks like, all on a frequency. And then now they deliver frequencies through depending on which program I'm using. So it's really like it woke me up to a lot of different energetic chakras and stuff that I was kind of aware of, but I wasn't attuned to them at all, and I didn't understand it in like how to let it all go and figure out what I needed to focus on. So this thing you can just hold in your hand, and it scans the bioenergetic field around you, and it can tell you which energy centers have low power, and then you can hook up the frequency to the chakras and charge them up. So
what?
Yeah,
this sounds like the greatest thing ever. I've literally been thinking about like it'd be ace if you had like a barometer to be able to generally raise your own frequency. Like obviously you know the skills and the tools that you need to have them, but if there was something that could tell you like almost like a battery pack where it's like, oh, that just needs a bit tweaking. Like, so there's actually the thing that exists.
Yeah, man. It completely like put all my stuff together, and everything that I'm doing, like trying to help people like release things from their past and rebuild their new future and their morning routines and all this kind of stuff. This thing now is just giving me most amazing feedback to be able to help people as well. So it's taking my coaching to another level. So I'll do a scan with somebody, and just like how my voice is, like the frequency of my voice is vibrating through this speaker and then into your ears, and you're understanding this. So your subconscious thoughts are vibrating at certain frequencies as well. Mm-hmm. So those thoughts and those words are very similar kind of. So now they've mapped pretty much all these thoughts, and now I can figure out what's going on at a subconscious level, and then you can bring them up and then let them go. So it goes super deep, and it's so precise.
Oh wait, just buffering a moment. Let's see if we can get him back. Are you there, brother? One second. Thanks everybody who's watching. If anyone who is watching, if you want to send any questions or pointers through, once we get to reconnect, put us any questions through and I'll be able to pose those as well. Looks like we've got you back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you log off, and come back on. One second. Yeah, there we go. Technology, you know how it is. We'll make it work.
They don't like us talking about this.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. I like it. Mate, that sounds ace. That sounds proper ace. Mm-hmm. Like, are they easy to get hold of? Can you get them on like Amazon or like any reputable seller?
I think we're cutting out because the all-knowing or hearing. They don't like this. But this thing's going to take down the pharmaceutical industry. It's going to take down the beauty industry because like people getting like acne, like their skin's getting clearing up. There's like medical industries. It's I see massive. This is a new whole industry. Frequencies. I think it's the future of health and wellness. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's changed my life in many different ways. it's changed my psychedelic journeys. Depending on if I'm tuned in through a different realm, depending on which frequency I'm on, is the type of trip that I'm doing. So, like for me, psychedelics aren't illegal for medical reasons; they're illegal for political reasons. And like the Royal Highness back in the day, the kings and queens of that have ruled empires of the past, they would have, with their potions and elixirs, they would have been using these medicines to get direct access to some higher knowledge, and they would have given it to the jesters and the jokers beforehand, make sure they're not going to go crazy. But it's taking. I'm pushing this psychedelic astronaut to another level with this machine, and it's yeah, it has so many different things. Like yeah, I had a couple teaching a meditation the other day, and then we was talking about them and how they were doing in their kind of connection between each other. And so we did a little tantric thing where they were sitting and had one clip on one person, one clip on the other person, so they had the same frequency going through their hearts. And when their hands are holding on, they were like it would make a circuit through them. And then I'm watching on the phone on the progress on what's resonating with them. So, and I could tell, and they were doing like a breathing through their nose and through their mouth, like an infinity breathing and eye gazing. And I could tell when one of them would like lose their focus. So I'd bring them back to this practice, and like, yeah, fixing people's relationships and connecting on a deep level. It's next level. And there's so many. There's 133 different stuff. It's next level.
How much is it?
It's probably in pounds, about 2,000 pounds. So, but it's like a medical device that you're going to have for the rest of your life, I think. So, and for the benefits that it can do, and heal people and help people figure out what's going wrong with them. Like I had a blockage in my third eye chakra, which I never knew, and I thought I'd done so much of this inner work, but then everything was kind of like there was still a big struggle there. And then when this came, I was scanning people before and after they're going for a surf in Byron Bay, and I'd scanned like 50 people, and no one had been lower than me on their third eye chakra. So my little spiritual ego was getting a check. I'm like, fuck, maybe I've got to do some more work in that regards. And then yeah, I ran the third eye chakra program, and then started talking to a friend, and then just started flowing. And I realized, for me, any like attachment causes the limitations in the flow. So if you're attached to something, you're causing that suffering. That's the root of suffering, as Buddha said. So I realized I had an attachment to my first love when I was 18 years old. And then every girl that I'd been with, I was trying to change them to be more like her. And then even when I met her like 6 or 7 years later, I was trying to change her to be more like her 18-year-old self. So I wasn't being present, and this was just a pattern that I'd been with my whole life. And then after this, I was like awakening to realize that I'd caused a lot of suffering. And I was married for a bit there. I think that would have caused insecurities, and trying to, like, back then my coaching was trying to change people because I was seeing them as broken. And then when I had a greater spiritual awakening, I realized that everyone's perfect, everything's perfect, and the problem, if people are causing their suffering, is because they haven't realized how perfect they are. So it's already, there's nothing to be fixed. There's only things to be detached. So there's things that are weighing the person down, and that's making them heavy, and that's making them hurt, and then hurt people kind of thing. So
are you able to focus on those elements by going deeper in? You know, so when you're saying there was a blockage within your third eye, and it was that told you, but you still got to work out what is causing that blockage. So is that, you know, does that program give you guidance into how to do that, or is it something that you just specifically have to sit there and sort of work out for yourself?
I know it gets really personal. So you do an analyst scan, so then it goes into your subconscious, and then it goes, this is resonating with you the most. So it might say that it talks about your father figures and parents and like all types of things. It goes super deep, super personal, and yeah, and it's at the moment I'm going to possibly say it's like 90% hit rate, and it's people's jaws drop, and like, how does it know? Like, I just did, like, I scanned this girl the other day and talking about relationship, this, and she's like, I just broke up with my boyfriend, this, and yeah. So it's crazy how spot on this thing can be. It blows my mind every time. So if you can get one, man, try it out. They do a 2 week. You can do a 2 week trial, like pay for it, and then if it doesn't blow you away in the 2 weeks, you get your money back. But man, this, like, for the people, I think this is the game changer. Like, it kind of blows.
You've gone again.
Sick, and then you go to a doctor to figure out what you, like, shouldn't we be the doctor?
Sorry, Bobby,
You
you cut out. Sorry, Bobby, you cut out when you said this is the game changer. When you were giving the explanation about it being the game changer, could you just pick up from there again, please?
Yeah, for sure. So really going to give the power to the people to be able to self-diagnose themselves, and not go into a doctor so much who is programmed to sell you pills. You know what I mean? Like, this is the I say the first, a lost patient, healed patient is a lost customer. How do they give them this? Keep them in this pharmaceutical world, and this kind of war between the people that understand energy and spirit and understand that suffering is caused, like the illnesses and the dis-ease is caused in disharmony. And I believe most of every single physical illness is a mental illness, is a repetitive pattern. When you think a certain way, you start to feel a certain way, and then you get into this thinking feeling pattern, and then it can actually change your thoughts or change your feelings, and go either way. So and then just the concept of how long it takes to heal, and they're just focusing on suppressing the symptoms, not actually figuring out the cause of the problem. I don't know if you've ever been to a doctor and they talk about, so what kind of water are you drinking? Like, are you meditating? Are you just, it's just so far from what I see health as, and how corrupt the medical industry is. And yeah, issue.
I was speaking with a nutritionist last week, and she was pretty much on the same page. And it's crazy how, when we look at this side of health, we look at it more as a luxury rather than a necessity, because of the way that we have been explained to go through basic, if we are ill, to go see a doctor, or go, it's never really, what are you eating, or are you exercising enough? It's never really like the root core questions, which could be altered, quite simply if implemented in the right way. But what we also were saying is, in this lockdown situation, people have started doing a lot more fitness, a lot more exercise. There's a lot more, looks like people have got that time to cook a bit more as well. So I'm asking everybody this: is this pause or is it reset? And do you think that people can take the skills that they're learning within this current lockdown, and when life does pick up the pace again, do you think that people can still implement the new ways of how they've been evolving with certain stuff like food and the cooking into that life?
Yeah, definitely. I believe there's going to be some sort of change, in a positive way. But the world is, like I've been saying for a while now, like the system's going to crash. It has to crash. It's built on such greedy kind of foundations. So a lot of unstable foundations. So the type of messages that's have kind of come through when I've kind of dived into, seeing it from
One sec, brother, you cut out just as you were saying the spirit molecule. Maybe he's onto something. We're probably getting deep and we're going to save, like, I wonder if it is the system, yeah, the Illuminati are listening, yeah. Maybe they are trying to hijack the conversation.
As YouTube says, they're gonna pay you. They're gonna pay you if you talk about if you talk about the things that they want to talk about, and they'll kick you off. Don't.
Crazy.
Yeah. But
we got to when you've been meditating in the spirit molecule.
Yep. Yep. So trying to step back from and look at, like, I kind of look at everything. I look at all the conspiracies. I look at everything from the government side and where they're at, and I try to step back, right back, and try to see, you know, I mean, like, we are stepping into what I kind of came about was, like, we're getting to the digital God, the almighty God that we've been talking around for a long time. So once 5G gets implemented, and the, like, they have full control and being completely watched. The moment you think about going to kill somebody, they're going to be on you at this point. I feel so. I mean, like, the future of self-driving cars are going to save 1.3 million people's lives a year. I believe, yes, it's affecting us, it's mutating us, and it's probably affecting a lot of people that have really low immune systems. If you get this new technology and you look at it and thinking it can save millions and millions of lives, are you doing the world injustice by not releasing it? And, like, but who are they to actually play that God? But it's a bit of a conundrum. So there's obviously I see a lot of positives when I look into the future of the next, like, 100 years, and if that brings another billion minds onto the network as well, giving everyone Wi-Fi, and the technology is just an extension of us. So that's what I always go back to. It. Everything's natural. Everything's come from nature. Like, the universe has given us these abilities and these 5 elements, and we've put it together to build this infrastructure. I'm not saying that everything is perfect at all, but when you take a step back and you look at, as technology has gone up, and our livelihood and our length of life and our quality of life has always increased. And obviously technology is at this stage now. So I think we're about to jump onto this kind of rocket ship towards immortality, especially when I've been learning more about frequencies and about the potentials of what they can achieve. And I've been diving into the fasting world a lot. And I think the big paradigm shift that's going to come about during this kind of great awakening, mixed with the new technologies, is the person at the top of the pyramid is the person who's going to survive the longest. Is going to be the healthiest, most balanced person. So not the richest person. Like, I see a big shift in that. And, you know, and you hear stories about the billionaires trying to drink all these elixirs of blood of these bloody kids, like all these other things. Like, they're waking up to it, and they're fearful now. They're like, geez, okay, like, the reason why there's so much money pumped into this, and so much focus on this, is because rich people can catch.
Well, where do you think the side of nature comes into it? Because you've given the trajectories, but it still seems like you've got life expectancy going like that. You've got technology, like you say, going like that. But, like, it seems like the planet's dwindling. So where's the balance with that?
Yeah, but you know, in technology is going to, like, for instance, the technology that they're cleaning the oceans now with that young kid who invented that machine to clean the oceans. And so technology will somewhat fix a lot of these problems, I think. And you know, I mean, even, like, even this big rest for the world, I think, is a big wake up of how much it can actually regenerate so quickly.
Mm.
And I think like the quality of nature is linked in with our consciousness as well. So if we go into this big fear mindset and everybody thinks the world is completely fucked, it's going to be people like, oh, phew, I can't do anything about it. It's already gone. It's already passed. It's like, so it's kind of balancing these kind of expectations on and understanding that psychology. And if your body's very toxic and your mind's very toxic, you're going to be doing toxic things to the world. So I think we need to be very careful, scaring people instead of kind of inspiring them. But I foresee like the future, even van life is kind of like I had a big ayahuasca trip, and she just said, "Be the landless king." She said that for like 6 hours straight. Be the landless king, the landless king. And I'm thinking, so I go into that, try to figure out what is Mother Ayahuasca telling me about this, and then I foresee like the future of like van life is going to be electronic vans, are like 2-bedroom, amazing little pods that we live in, that you get in there and you dial in which beach you want to go to, which place you want to go to, and then you're just home, and you rock up wherever you go. And I think we're going to be living in these little off-grid communities a lot more. I think there's a big calling with my community and the people around me. Everyone wants to do this. But how do you make it not be such a cult? Because people get in there and then so you got to keep it flowing like water. And then so this is something that I've been working on, a little pitch and a little marketing idea, linked in with my book. And I want to give away my van and give away a exit of the Matrix pretty much package. And another buddy of mine wrote a book called Escape the 9 to 5, the New Wave, and he wrote it with like 35 other entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs. So I was going to put them together, and then my vision is to build pyramids just like the one Burning Man around the world, and have a big fleet of amazing kind of off-road vehicle, or like van or buses and all this kind of stuff, and then have one in the UK, one in Australia, one in Bali, one in the US, in South America. And you can kind of travel between each of them, and we can kind of, because that's the last attachment to the land. People get very attached to their land, and they say, this is mine. And this obviously causes a lot of suffering, a lot of wars in the world, and like these imaginary borders that connects us. So just by, there's different levels, like the different chakra levels, like the 12th chakra. When I got to this level of like busting through different realms of God realms, and I got to this point of like full unity in the world, and then that shifted my whole focus on what I want to do with my life. How do I keep this? How do I keep my vision on how to unify the world? And like a lot of people in the spiritual world talk about your star signs and all these different modalities that focus on all the differences between each other. Like you're this and you're this and you're this, and the thing that came through was like, we've all got the same.
Hold up, are you coming back? It'll come back. We'll be back in.
No.
Hey, I was into that. I was fully locked into that. You were saying about the pyramid. You were saying about the different places where people could travel about to all the different places, and the idea of the book that you were doing and as the giveaway with your van.
Yeah. So the pyramids are just going to be like biohacking labs. So you walk through there and you get a essential oil shower as you walk in, and like you get there'll be like 24-hour cinemas running with like conscious courses that will help you balance up the conscious side of the mind, and then there will be like circles and different types of modalities happening and healings happening, and all the technology, a lot of stuff that have been coming through LA and a few of my communities there. And some amazing kind of experiences that I had, like bioharmonic beds where you lay on these beds and they vibrate and they read your biometric energy, and you have these headphones on, and they red light therapy and ice baths and all types of things to pretty much build your body up to a consciousness, and to reduce the suffering from the past generations, to get yourself into a as close as you can to a godlike human, I think.
And you also mentioned the 12th, was it the 12th chakra or something? I think you were on about that as well.
Yeah. I had the last day of Burning Man this year. I had a ceremony that I feel like took me higher than anyone else has ever been, ever. Yeah. So obviously set and scene is important, and you know yourself, like the last day of Burning Man is the most activated day in the world, I think, of like celebration, and the lasers smashing through the ether, and just the atmosphere that around there is euphoric and already like, yeah, amazing. But then I ended up running into these two shamans, and they put me through a pretty extensive cocktail that guided me for the next 4 hours through different realms, into the Hindu god realms, and then into the Egyptian god realms, and then to above it all. So it was pretty, yeah, it was life-changing experience. And I got to the end of suffering. It was crazy. Like, I come out of it, the tears. I was walking around at Robo Heart the next morning, sunrise, and I was just touching everyone on the heart, and I fucking felt like Jesus. But and then yeah, it was. And then from then on, it was like anywhere I went, I was just like, people were like, dude, you have to meet this guy, and like he's like this head of this place, or this like the owner of this company. It's like, for some reason, just this energetic, like it's a very valuable, like the further you get up this experiment, I don't know, I still don't know how to explain it, but it just brought this vast kind of value into my energy. And everywhere I went, I was like, yeah, it was really interesting, just getting invited to these exclusive places and all these people. And here I am driving my $2,000 van, and like I didn't even have, like, I'd lost my credit card on the flight. I didn't have any money, but I'm like dancing with the most conscious, most richest people in Hollywood, and like just mingling with the elites. And then like that next night, I'm like sitting with the homeless people down there in Venice, and just like it was an amazing experience. But and then I go back to Oz, and the same thing. Like everywhere I went, it was just like really like Wim Hof came up to me, and we ended up going to dinner, and like kind of just all these other amazing people. And there was just really epic human beings kept flowing into my life after that experience. And it was one after another, and it was just like, yeah, it was really special. So
but that sounds incredible, by the way, like especially like Wim Hof and all those heads, like to be able, especially with the lifestyle that you live, like those people like you properly look up to as well, and rightfully so. So to have them just like flowing through, there's nothing better when you're in state flow, when your frequency, and you know your potential is to offer as a soul, and the universe is just abiding with it. Like I don't feel there's any better sensation ever in the plane, any plane of the universe. The final ones from me then is, talk us through the psychedelics, because I know when we were out in Burning Man, I was like, I was hesitant to him. I'm a bit more open minded. I'm definitely on the shroom hype, but
Yeah.
I'm still a bit wary of ayahuasca. And I'm actually microdosing San Pedro. That's all good, but I'm a bit more hesitant when it comes to ayahuasca. But it does seem like it is a game changer.
Yeah, definitely. It's very feminine kind of the ayahuasca for me. Like that experience is very kind of emotional and is very kind of bodily like. But just smoking the DMT itself is a very conscious masculine kind of road. So yeah, as I said, I truly believe it's a political thing. Like there's some of the downloads that come through. I just think like I just feel that these head of states and these people that they must be using this tool. I really think so. Just the different perspective that you can have on a global level, on a universal level. So, but obviously, like ketamine has been now like legalized in LA, so you can go get that intravenous
Is
and go
it?
through this. Yeah,
What?
yeah. So you can go into a doctor's surgery now and get and trip balls in the doctor's surgery. So, but mixing that with the DMT and nitros as well, and essential oils and fasting and breath work and frequency and a frequency machine. And it's been journey. So it's over the past like probably had 200 plus trips to kind of understand and to map this world, and to it's a bit of a club as well. They know if you've been there or not. It's kind of they know if you come with good intentions and if your body's free to kind of everything you've ever known, letting go of your fear. And it dates back right to the Egyptians as well. So if you look into the Egyptians, and they were using these kind of experiences and having to balance, because think about it this way, just in a geometrical kind of level, the more balanced you are, the higher you can actually build your pyramid. So the higher you can actually get. So having balanced mindset and a fearless emotional mindset to be able to let go of it, and then to be able to have faith and to know where you're going and where you get to, and that's a very conscious kind of thing. But yeah, just there's a lot I've kind of put into a professional level of just like a 3-day fast going into it, and the alkalinity in the body and different types of things like this, and there's essential oils, and there's a whole shamanistic kind of native, but then like scientific process that's kind of coming together. Because my idea is in the future being able to guide anyone to that experience. So I think it should be the number one religion in the world, because I cannot just stand up there and tell you about God. You can come sit with me and I'll show you your demigods or your angels or your major gods, depending on how high you can actually get to. Because yeah, it's crazy world. It's a crazy world. There's a machine out there called a Domatrix at the moment, where you can actually stay in the DMT world for as long as you want, a year.
Like Inception.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's look it up. It's called the Domatrix machine. It's in Northern California. So if COVID wasn't around, I would be there right now, I think. So yeah.
Wow. What's it like when you sort of come back and processing where you've just been to, and how you merge it with this plane of reality?
Yeah, well, like I'll be sitting there, and then like the moment I get my neck back, I'm directly in contact with some beings, and then I bring my head back down there, and I'm in this world, and then I'll go back up and come back down, and then yeah, so it's really interesting. It fits so well with just depending on which my intention. So the quality of your answers that you get is depending on the quality of the questions you ask. So if you go in there with a direct question, wanting to know something, yeah, you'll you'll receive those kind of answers, if you're worthy of them as well. So I think a big part of it kind of comes through. It feels like, why me? And because I've let go of all the materialistic desires and got beyond all of that. So I don't know. It feels like they're downloading powers into you. So it's kind of energetic powers, and yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, I haven't fully figured out what I'm doing with them yet, but it's definitely helping my networking skills, and it's helping me kind of just live with no stress anymore. I just have complete divine faith. Like, I feel like I've got more faith than the Pope, because
Got more
he
faith
says
than the Pope.
he says he can hear the whispers. He says he can hear the whispers of God, but I've been face to face with them and danced with them, and many times. Yeah, it's weird and it's interesting. It's yeah, there's even like there's certain ones where if you were to come down from them and you have like a low afterwards, there's still productive stuff you can do there, because then you may still got a lot of things to work on in the super low vibrations. So that kind of awakening that I had with the attachment came when I was coming down on one journey. So I think that's the trick to life, is it's always going to throw shit at you, yeah, and you just need to have the tools to turn that shit into manure, and manure your garden around you. So and so yeah, I think it's all part of the game. So you can be fearless in the darkest types of your days. You don't have anything to lose, and then you become unfuckwithable. But yeah, just understanding that level. So this may feel solid, but if I matched with the same frequency as this cheekbone, it'll go straight through me. So I'm not actually solid. I'm just a really dense matter put together. So understanding this really allowed me to not be affected by things and other people and other energies. And so yeah.
Is it that film with George Clooney? Have you seen that? Is it Goats and something or the other? I'll send you it. It proper goes into what the bit what you're just saying about being able to match the same frequency and then be able to go through what appears to be a solid object. So yeah, the men who stare at goats. That's it. Men who stare at goats. Good film. Good film. Get onto that. Good film. Think you'll like it. The final one from me, brother, because I've got to wrap up in the next couple of minutes, is do you want to maybe just give a description about what your book is going to be and where people can find out a bit more about you as well, and where they can hit you up?
Yeah, cool. So the book's called Satisfaction Made Simple. So it's a journey. It's pretty much my kind of life's journey from my awakenings, from coming from a suburban type of boy who was just becoming a crazy water, and then I had a big injury, a big elbow reconstruction, knee reconstruction, and wrist reconstruction, and so it sent me on a bit of a hero's journey around the world. And they're pretty much all the lessons that I've kind of picked up along the way from different masters, from yogi masters, meditators, from billionaires, from people that are just really good at what they do. And so yeah, picking up little bits of magic and little quotes and little tools, and being able to turn them into words that anyone can understand. And it's a bit of a tell-all. So it tells all about different addictions that I've had and different tools that I've used to overcome them. And yeah, it was kind of targeted just to be able to. Wouldn't it be cool if I can give my future kids a book of these are all the lessons that I've learned in my life. You can read this. And then it turned into something that could possibly help humanity. So so it's quite a story. Yeah, it's told from the seven seas to the top of the mountains to working with the poorest people in the world to the richest people in the world, and yeah, there's a lot of lessons in it, and yeah, so I'm guessing it's going to be on Amazon when I release it. It just keeps growing, so it's hard to know when to throw it out there, but soon. And yeah, if you want to connect, just Instagram the Yogi Captain. That's probably the best way to connect. But yeah.
Brother, absolute splendid catch up. It's good to see you, man. I can feel the vibes oozing through you, mate, and you're looking super healthy as well. And the chat's been always legendary, always uplifting, which is what we're about, man. Let's see if it brings us back. Is he still there? That is such... I need to screen grab that. We might have lost him this time. Ladies and gents, that was Bobby Martin. I met him at Burning Man, as I mentioned at the interesting, uplifting brother. Definitely worth giving him a follow and checking him out, because when that book does come out, you know, it's going to be from the heart and it's going to have some real great insight into universal living. So that's me, Ben Random, wrapping up, and then we're going to be back in the next 3 minutes with our next guest, Nathan Clark, who is the main man at Brudenell Social Club, the iconic Leeds venue. So we'll catch you all in a bit. Peace.